Also an incredible move, massive shields. You can, push your opponents slightly, stun them. We're gonna have to see what kind of Vaporeon as we move into game number 2 here. Doobsnax, BH3 Esports, your purple team, Komaï, your orange team. We are in our first set here in EU today.
Yeah, Narami actually on this Vaporeon, so I think they're going to be going for the more of a healing-based angle, as of course Gek is going to hustle on the Crustle there downstairs. Quickly, Decidueye are now currently a Rowlet trying to clear their central area, get evolved up to a Dartrix and a future Decidueye to contend with the long-range sniper on the other side, that Inteleon.
Here we go. Vaporeon already online. I'm guessing we're going to be seeing the Muddy Water for our first move here. It's just so incredibly good, but Hydro Pump also still very powerful, and there is the Muddy Water as they dash forward towards that tall grass right here. Inteleon trying to steal a little bit from the side of Komaï.
Yeah, great read on the Muddy Water. Took the words right in my mouth. That's where I expected them to go, and Rami to go with that as well. Now, we do have some nice little pressure being put on the back door by this Vaporeon, grabbing the attention of the Drizzile as Reisu is putting some damage on, and now the chase is on. Still wearing the bulb is Narami, going to have to use an eject button, get into a berry, and back to their side of the map.
Nice big score here in the bottom path from Gek as we have a Desu. They are now level 5, so they are able to be mega with that Mewtwo. Why? And it is a problem, Doobsnax. Both Mewtwo's right now are a problem, and that feels like you could say that at about any point in this game's history.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mewtwo Y, historically the one that was getting a lot more play, but with these buffs to this Mewtwo X, you're seeing it show up in spades, and we can see the real moments it has as we're trying to press Reisu down. Here comes Toast for the cutoff, and that's a good little knockout into the hands of that Dartrix to get it up to Decidueye quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I see what BH3 was trying to do right there, but they probably just gave up an easy Regidrago plus the experience of the KO, so a big-time failure from that invade right there. Not great, whereas Narami grabbing both buffs on the side of BH3. Great stuff again from Komaï, starting out this match in a commanding position.
Yeah, I mean, Lucario trying to put the screws to this Clefable, who's just trying to get their stacks up. Of course, those stacks will allow them to heal just a large critical threshold of damage from that squad. Big pot shot with the Spirit Shackle. Still a knockout on the Vaporeon. Another successful Spirit Shackle, but it's just shy of getting a quality knockout.
Just barely missing right there. And we do have Matang online in this bottom path, so we see the Gyro Ball. This Pokemon, I think, is pretty underrated, the Metagross. When you get that online, when you hit a great Gyro Ball into the enemy team, the shield is so massive that you can eat up a lot of your opponent's big early move damage in a fight.
Absolutely, right? And if there's anything you'd like to contend with in the bottom path, it's unsurprising that it's the Matang and the Crustle here, as a nice snipe shot is going to allow the Regis to go into the hands of BH3 as they are fading back. Snorlax is just taking a lot of shots for this Mega Mewtwo Y, but it's going to peel back because Narami stepped up and ate that snipe shot.
Yeah, Narami just taking a huge snipe shot right there, but if you want anyone to get hit with a snipe shot, it is definitely the Vaporeon. However, the HP is getting pretty low. Megu not able to push them back right here. Regieleki getting very, very low. Close combat. Spirit Shackle. It does go down to Lucario's power-up punch.
Thank goodness, because I was watching Toast and I was like, oh, they are way late on this. Nice Rock Tomb there. Decidueye Unite, the knock arrow. They're knocking on the door of BH3 Esport. Now is that BH3 going to let him in? And it says, no, get off my lawn. Snipe shot, excuse me. Spirit Shackle comes through, tons of damage. The follow-up finally rings true and gets a knockout. Narami's in the deep waters and trying to create them themselves with the muddy waters. X-Scissor back with the Rock's Tomb combination. Going to allow the Crustle that hustles to stand on that pad. Another good X-Scissor on Snorlax. Decidueye puts in a 40 banger. 14 left on the pattern. Then to close this out, no, they're going to let it stand for just a hair longer.
Yeah, and the reason teams do this, Doobsnax, as I'm sure you know, is that they're able to get all of this experience between these 2 points. If they can secure all of that and then move in for an even bigger cap later, that would be massive. Of course, also, not breaking one of these tier 1 goal zones means you're not giving your opponents all this free experience they essentially get on their side. They're going to decide when this goal zone goes down after winning a big fight. 26-106. Komaï, just like game number 1, having a really strong start, but this is about where things turned around in game 1 as well. So we'll see what BH3 can do.
Absolutely, and it looks like we're actually leaving Narami up there, so at least it's a 4v2 instead of what was a 4v1 last time. They closed the goal zone, they push for more. It looks like they're going to easily give that thing up as Mega Mewtwo Wai is online, and it's looking to bully a little bit. Narami with the back cap action, plus 32. Nice little move there, knowing that they couldn't defend. Regirock is easily going to be lined up by BH3 Esport. Snipe shot's going to come through, bang, secured. Now Komaï has an idea of where, but he has nice pullback, though, by the Mewtwo. Could have spelled danger.
Yeah, Narami, though, an absolute playmaker throughout this game, and it's what we expected. It is the flip turn Vaporeon right there, bouncing on into them, creating this huge shield, and then pushing them back or up with the muddy water, creating big fights. BH3 actually in a great position around here as the Mewtwo Unite comes in. Toast in a lot of trouble.
Compute and crash is enough to get the Decidueye down, and the rest of the team goes straight towards Regieleki, and it's looking to march. What is BH3 going to Esport do with it? Rock Tomb is up. Here comes the Vaporeon stepping in, and now we've got James Bond coming out. We've got the Mewtwo Unite coming out, and we're looking to put some pressure on. This is a big scrap for the 4-minute mark, and it's the Metagross finding purchase on the Vaporeon. Mewtwo finds into the back line. They're sitting on pad trying to get some more, and they are dusted and dealt with. The Spirit Shackles are ringing out. They're trying to find some quality targets, and as of right now, it's just enough to deal with this Regieleki, and we're going to dispense of the Decidueye Unite, that knock arrow, to take care of the Regieleki.
Yeah, really nice stuff there from Komaï. It was a very scary fight for them. It almost went very poorly right as they were starting to push towards them. Look at the levels, by the way, on the side of BH3. For a moment there, almost every single Pokemon was the same level at level 11. Now we're starting to see that kind of tick up here. A couple of level 12s on both sides for these squads. Very even level-wise, but Komaï has focused on scoring. They've broken the tier 2 goal zone in the bottom path. They're up 113 to 292, a minute out before Groudon.
Yeah, right team does indeed have a huge lead, almost up by 200 points here. An errant Rock Tomb didn't quite trap anybody as we're looking to fight again. Clefable getting credit on the Gatlu knockout on that Lucario. Narami is getting chased down by a Mewtwo themselves. Snipe shot lined up. Mega Mewtwo Wai a bit early before the final fight, but it is going to put good pressure on BH3 to retreat. Not able to convert a knockout, and there comes the Metagross spinning the win themselves right on top of the Mewtwo, telling them that they're the true legendary in that situation.
You know, the nice thing here for BH3 in this fight, if Komaï is not able to pick up a KO in some of these moments, they just have that beautiful Clefable healing that they can kind of peel right back to. So Komaï is going to need to burst them down in a big way, or Clefable is just going to keep topping their squad off. However, they're also going to need to make a play. They don't have the secure of Blaziken or something like that. They've got a Snipe shot, which can be blocked as Groudon hits the map here at the 2-minute mark. We see BH3 sort of positioning around Groudon, deciding how they want to take this fight. But Komaï, way ahead, they don't need to be the ones to instigate anything, Dupe Snacks. They are waiting to see if BH3 is going to make a mistake, how many Spirit Shackles they can catch them with. Mewtwo with a little bit of a pull there, but it doesn't get anything done. And again, time ticking down. BH3 behind by quite a bit.
Yeah, they are putting good damage on Megu there. You saw the Rock Tomb, and they eat a couple Spirit Shackles to the grill. That was a huge Snipe shot on the Mewtwo, who's forced to go into their own central and reset Spraggles. Now, this is an opportunity for BH3 to step up.
And we're going to see if they want to move forward right here. About a minute on the clock now. Rezu just trying to find those Snipe shots. Gotlu charging up Power-Up Punch, staying unstoppables. They don't get knocked up, but right at the end of it, they do. Gotlu into a Power Nap. Here we go.
Close combat to top off their HP. Now they're peeling back. So Mega with an early engage. The block is there, not catching everybody. The knock arrow straight into the face of the Metagross, and it's looking gross indeed. The Coliseum went up for a split second, and that last bolt from the knock ripping through the steel type. Now it's a block trying to separate Narami from the back door on the Inteleon, but they're unsuccessful. Close combat doesn't hit the broadside of a barn, but it's the Inteleon caught in the muddy waters. You'd think they'd be comfortable there, but they're finding themselves in absolute trouble. A Nightmare, heavy slam into the middle. Megu's looking to make a move here. The block is up. That big cannon from the Lucario rips through, and this Groudon is on the verge of getting knocked out, and it's just Komaï standing in the center and getting themselves a big boss fight win.
Huge win right there. They are already up. They're going to push towards these goal zones. That's going to be Komaï taking game number 2. A very different look from Komaï, right? It didn't feel like they fell apart halfway through this match here. They continue to keep their score lead, and what a beautiful fight around Groudon right there. There were multiple moments, you know, with Spirit Shackle, with Power Up Punch. They could have taken a very weighted, secure opportunity towards Groudon, but instead they took out every single member of BH3 first. Beautiful plays from Komaï, gonna tie this thing up.
I really loved how Narami played this Vaporeon. You called it out that they were just being a playmaker. They were finding their way into the back line, putting a lot of good stress on the Inteleon specifically.